Hey everyone, welcome to a tutorial on how to create Pong using JavaScript and HTML. So, a couple things before we start this tutorial. This tutorial is tailored for the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders that have taken the GATE bootcamp on learning how to code. If you found yourself watching this video and was not part of the bootcamp, please know I will not be covering the basics of JavaScript and HTML, as I have already covered that in the bootcamp. And if you were part of the bootcamp and need a refresher, please remember that we gave you notes on everything, so you can just reference those. This tutorial also runs parallel to a free Udemy course done by another person. Link will be in the description down below. Okay, so now we got all of that out of the way, we can actually start learning to code. Alright, so you'll want a text editor first. You can use Notepad if you really want. I do not recommend Notepad because it doesn't come with nice colors and nice file organization, things like that. So I used this program called Atom. You're gonna want to install Atom, and once you have it installed, you can go ahead and open it up, and you'll see this screen. You'll have an untitled file, but you won't have this project window. So the way we do that is we go to File, Add Project Folder, and we specify a folder where our project goes to, and I so happen to name it Pong. Okay, so if you need the link to Atom, the link will be down below. So now we can start coding. So we're just going to do our opening HTML tags, like opening and closing, and we're going to do a Control-Shift-S to save our file. And we want to name it pong.html. The .html gives us is what is called a file extension. And basically that tells the computer what kind of file it is. It's an HTML file. So we go ahead and save that, and there we go. So Atom, if you saw before, it didn't have the HTML on the red text, and since we saved it as a .html, Atom detected that it was an HTML file and gave us the proper coloring for it. So you can also actually do that on here by clicking down in this corner here, and as you can see, it can handle a bunch of different languages, but we want HTML. Alright, so now we have that out of the way, we can actually start making our game. Well, we're already in the process of making a game. Whatever. Okay, so we'll go ahead and check if our Pong works. Sure enough, it does. Cool. No errors. So we can now make our canvas. Our canvas helps us. I'll just pull things up here. Okay, our canvas is exactly what it sounds like. It's a canvas. It lets us draw things on our screen. So we'll start with canvas ID equals game canvas, and we will give it a width of 800 pixels. Now this is these units are in pixels. They're tiny squares on the screen. And a height of 600. Okay, so now that we opened our canvas tag, we will close our canvas tag. And there it is. Alright, so now we have a canvas. But if we go ahead and open Pong, there's nothing. Well, it's because our canvas is currently white. So we actually have to set the canvas to an actual color. And we can do this by using JavaScript. So we start our script tag, make sure your script is spelled correctly. Okay, so we need a couple things to deal with our canvas. We need a canvas variable and a canvas context. Now, the canvas context contains properties about the canvas and such. Okay, so we need to create what's called a window onload function. And this is what's called an event in JavaScript. So your computer, well, your browser has things called events. So you have an on-click event, you have an on-load event, and what it essentially is when one of the events happens, your computer knows, okay, this event is triggered, so I need to do so and so things. So the Windows onload function requires a function, and we've already went over how to make a function, but this is a different way on how to make a function, because the window onload function, well, the window onload event wants a function inside it, because it's asking, okay, what do I do? So you give it a function, and you create this function by writing function and putting the parentheses, because the parentheses is always needed for functions, and you follow it with the curly braces. And now this creates a function. It's called an inline function, and basically it means that you're just creating this temporary this function right here without giving it a name or whatnot. You're just assigning it to this onload. Okay, so when we load the page, that's what the onload gets fired on. So we want the actual canvas. So we do a canvas equals document dot get element by ID game canvas. Okay, so what this does is it looks at our HTML document. That's from the opening HTML tag to the closing HTML tag. That is your HTML document. And notice how we gave our canvas an ID. Canvas is an element in your document. So it's this method, well, this function is basically saying, okay, I want to get this element by an ID, so I'm looking for a certain ID called game canvas. And sure enough, our canvas's ID is game canvas, and it will give us our canvas. Okay, now we need to assign our canvas context. We can do that by doing canvas context equals canvas dot get context, and we will give it a parameter of 2D because we want a 2D canvas. Okay, so now we have our canvas. Alright, well, what's the next step? Well, we need to actually give our canvas color. So we do that by calling, by actually drawing in our canvas. So I will do a canvas context dot fill style, and we will give it a black color. Okay, then we have a canvas context dot fill rect. And fill rect is a function that actually draws a rectangle. And we will discuss how it actually draws the rectangle in a bit here. So once that's done, everything should be okay. Alright, so save your work, then go back to your project folder and open up the HTML file. And there it is. There is our canvas. So, alright, a couple things here. Okay. So, I prefer working in this screen so I can constantly test the file. So, if I want to change it to white, all I have to do is do that and hit enter, and it will update the file. Make sure you save it before you hit enter, change it to red, and so on. Okay, so now we have our setup. Let's discuss what we just did. So fill style, as you can see, is the color of your of the fill function. So when you change the fill style, your next fill function, so fill rect, there's going to be also a fill circle, or there's also going to be a fill circle. It will change the color of that fill according to the most recent fill style. So looking at our fill rect function, we can see that we passed in a 0, 0, the canvas width and canvas height. So what this 0, 0 is the kind of like y coordinate, meaning it's the coordinate dealing with up and down, and the other 0 is dealing with the coordinate going left and right. So 0, 0 is actually on this top corner here. And then this is just passing in the width of our rectangle and the height of our rectangle. And of course, we want it to fill our entire rectangle. Okay, so now we have the rectangle. So what do we do now? Well, Pong has a ball. So we'll go ahead and try to get a kind of like a prototype for a ball. So we don't know quite yet how to actually fill a circle. So what we'll do is we will fill a smaller rectangle, and we can do that by doing a canvas context dot fill style. We will give it a white color, and we will do another fill rect. This time we give it, let's say, 100, 100, and then it's like a 10 by 10 square. Okay, there it is. There is our quote-unquote ball. It's not really a ball, it's a box. Okay, so the last thing we're gonna do in this video is try to get the ball to move. Well, if you remember from a while ago, we have this notion of a coordinate. It's a place in the screen. Well, remember that our x is going this way and our y is going this way. Up and down is y, left and right is x. So what I will do is I will give myself a new variable called ball x. This will track the x position, so the left and right position of our ball. So once we have this, I'll set it to 50. I will change this fill rect, the x coordinate of the fill rect, into ball x. And sure enough, let's try it. Okay. Yep, that changes that changes the coordinate. Once that is done, we will do a ball x equals ball x plus 5. Okay. Now, the ball is not moving. That's strange. Well, this is because we are the Windows onload function is only running once. So we actually want to run it in an interval. And we can do this by calling set interval, and we need to pass in a function. Well, since we already need a function, and our onload function is starting to look a little bit cluttered, let's do some cleanup. We can create a new function called draw everything. And lo and behold, this function will draw everything. Okay, so we will move our this block of code that actually does the drawing into draw everything. And I'm gonna do a Control X to cut and a Control V to paste. Okay, so now that we have our draw everything function, we will pass in the draw everything function inside the set interval. And then if we then set interval needs another function, another parameter, so we're going to give it 50. And what this 50 is every 50 milliseconds, go ahead and update, go ahead and call draw everything. Okay, once that's done, save it and run it. There we go. We have a ball that moves, but it goes off to infinity. Well, shoot. Well, since we now have a problem in our code. To fix it, you will have to see the next video. So, thank you for watching, and don't forget the link to the Udemy course is down below, and also the link to Atom is down below if you need Atom. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me in the email down below. Make sure to include your source code and your actual question. Alright, so I'll see you in the next video.